Oh my goodness, when last did I post more than one video in one day? But I know the feeling when the Holy Spirit is pushing me to share something. And this has been sitting in the back of my mind, at the back of my mind for a long time. But today I felt a real nudge to share these things. All the content I share is heart, mind based and spiritual and everything. But this one is technical because I've interacted with enough of you now to know some things where we are very similar. And I just wanted to share what I've learned personally starting a channel. I started my first channel a few years ago. I was reading tarot cards. And I remember still copying like other people's styles and everything and spending so much time recording the actual cards as I shuffle them and everything and packaging it and the nerves that are involved in the process. And then the video is not really gaining any traction on YouTube, which I found very frustrating and just depleting in terms of my energy because each video took so much of my energy that it started to feel discouraging. After that, I created something called like a mini 1-minute reading that I would do. It had a specific structure and I'd share them on my Instagram. And I shared these on my personal Instagram page where the people who know me were able to see them. So now, obviously, in hindsight, always 2020, I now know how valuable those little readings I was doing were. But because Instagram is the way it is and because it's structured the way it is, people don't have the space to be vulnerable and comment and like. And because they know you, they don't want to expose themselves. So it becomes a very lonely place and another place to suck all your energy and not help you gain any traction and validate yourself, I suppose, through your experiments and stuff like that. So I took a long break and finally I decided to start Pyramid Energy. I've shared the story of how I started. I don't remember what the video is called. Hold on. Yeah, it's titled The Birth of Pyramid Energy. It's a longer title than that, but that's that. And in that video, I basically share that I knew I wanted to start something. I didn't know which platform it was going to be. And it was just like one day I had something, I found I was sitting on like a recording that I wanted to share. And this was on the back of a whole lot of notes that I had with downloads, stuff about pyramids. It was from a vision, stuff about pyramids and all that, I just have a habit of writing everything down because I know it will make sense later. And so when I had this piece of content, I didn't know where to put it, but I was like, okay, maybe put it on YouTube. Then I went back to my downloads and I started thinking, okay, I don't know how this links, but that's how I landed on Pyramid Energy. And because I'm the way I am, I'm a recovering perfectionist. But I didn't know like how to present the visuals. I like things that look nice. So how do I present the visuals? What do I call the page? Thumbnail, all these technical YouTube things. And because I didn't have time and I didn't want to lose the heat that I was riding on to share it, I just basically fell back on the black screen with the white text. And a few other things that I'd learned from watching a whole lot of how-to videos on YouTube. And then it came to the logo. The logo, I didn't know, like, how do you even present Pyramid Energy now that I'm an energy person. That's how I got to energy. And then I'd had this whole pyramid thing that I'd downloaded on the heart, mind, and spirit, those 3 pillars. And so then I just took pyramid and energy. And I think I remember, if I remember correctly, one of the names I tried using wasn't available, so I put pyramid energy. And I was like, I don't have time to do a logo, so I just did a triangle. And black and white works for me because it actually even goes with the way I generally dress. I'm generally in either a pair of jeans with a white t-shirt or black pants or the white t-shirt. Like, I'm black and white. There was a time I only wore black really, but now I introduced white, and it's just like, it's my standard personal look. It's just, so I was like, this works, you know? And also then I don't have to get confused next time I post something, because it's already like simple, it's one template, and I don't have to like redesign every single time. Because one creator that I used to watch a lot, his name is Minnow Pondtaro, and he, he produces like, I don't know how many videos a day, and I used to wonder where he gets all this energy from. But one of the things he recommends is making your life easier, like creating some kind of, he doesn't call it a template, but like a way of working that allows you to, whether it's the way you lay out your table or your working space or whatever it is, so that you can just step in and do it. So that's also what informed my not showing my face and using video, was because I'd then have to think about whether I'm having a good day or a bad day, whether I feel like I look presentable or not. And, you know, like literally all of the creativity gets swallowed and sucked into those thoughts. And those thoughts are not contributing to the video at all. And I also realized a lot of the videos that I like watching, first of all, like I've mentioned before, I don't watch content. Sometimes I get curious and I watch. But I can't watch content for long, like one thing. And I don't know if it's like an attention problem that I have or whatever it is. But I like to fiddle, and I like to I like to fiddle with stuff, and I like to listen. So it's like my senses are always very busy. So I don't force myself to put all my senses into one place. I struggle to focus when I do that to myself. And so I stayed true to myself, and I just used my voice. And this is another lesson in remembering that you already have everything you need. Because essentially, I was already a writer. I'd already realized that I have a way with words. So I needed my words, and I needed my voice, and I needed something to record my voice with. And I needed a Gmail account to open a YouTube account. None of these things, my message did not require my name. My message did not require my identity. My message did not require my face. And so I went with it. And what this allowed me, it allowed me the room to be totally creative and free. And what I mean by this is that if we go back to the idea of, and I can hear I'm talking really fast, it's because I'm very excited, because I can feel everyone creating their content, and I just want to help here, because I remember a time where I didn't know where to go to figure out how to start a channel along the lines of what I was interested in doing. Nobody shares this information in this world. It's not like YouTube information is usually found through YouTube experts. So I'm not a YouTube expert, and the people that create the content that I like watching are also not YouTube experts. So I thought maybe it's a fluke, you know, like they managed like by chance or whatever. But what I can do is share with you why I did things the way I did them and how. And so, and sorry, just to go back to what I was saying, is that if we look at the idea of jumping a timeline, one of the reasons why it's so difficult to grasp this idea is because we're stuck in this physical reality, in our current surroundings. And so when you present something that's essentially sort of coming from your spiritual current self, which is actually your physical future self, I've found it worked so well to just share those critical elements that were required for my message, to not show video, because what also happens is that when you share all of that, and there's another blog post thing I need to not forget to tell you. When you share all of that, the person who's watching your video might actually, because their senses are now split, and I'm not saying don't use video, this is a personal choice, but I'm just explaining the benefits of not using video. Okay, so you're splitting their senses. So you're asking their senses to also share in looking at you. Look at the kind of message you're sharing and ask yourself whether, I want to say, just remember that less is more. Less is more. and you're able to actually jump literally into a future version of yourself when you use only what you need. Because if you pull too much of your current self and pour it into this new thing that is essentially going to be proof of that your future self exists, when you do that, you're limiting how far it can go. So for me, it was just about channeling only what I need into this new thing and leaving everything that's not relevant out, sticking to the point, and also just using my voice meant that as soon as my channel felt open, or whenever, as soon as my channel feels open, I jump on it. I put my mic on and I start talking. And that's how I feel that day. Like now. So I'm having a pajama day. So now my whole pajama day is gone because I have to record a video, you know. And now I was busy doing something else, and all these thoughts came streaming in, and I thought, let me catch this and share it, because I've done it many times where I lose content because I've got thoughts that run through me, and then they feel so golden, and then I save them for later, and then the passion's gone. And so the moment is lost. So the easier you make it for yourself, less is more. The simpler you make it, the less cluttered you make it. Make sure it's just all you need. And when you're the most relaxed, that's the most important thing. When you're the most relaxed, share it then. Create it then. Record it then. Because that energy carries through. A while back, this is what I wanted to mention about audio. A while back, it was the dandelion phase, when I wrote a poem because of the dandelions. I came across a blog post, and he was explaining this concept of dress to the nines, and then I just went down a rabbit hole and looked at his other content. And one of the blog posts that he had shared previously was basically a commentary on the benefits, or basically weighing up the idea of voice only, now in relation to content, voice only, or voice and visual, or visual only. I think that's what he mentioned. And he falls back on this Yale study that was done at the university. And so they did the study. And what they found was that there is more. Here, I found a piece that I wrote on it. He goes on to share that a Yale University study indicated that one of the most effective ways of increasing empathic accuracy is through voice-only communication. Voila. So, what empathic accuracy is we all carry this energy and this empathy, right? And it's the truth of the emotion. So what happens is that it's natural, it's what we do with our bodies, especially if we find ourselves not completely comfortable in our skin yet. When someone is watching you, they're able to pick up empathically how you really feel. And their brain is already going through this whole process where it's comparing what they're feeling from you versus what you're showing them. So you're already actually sucking up a lot of their attention. They don't even know, and you don't know. But when there's just your voice, the truth of your message, the truth of your voice, the truth of your energy is able to be carried through way more effectively than if you absorb your senses and their senses with stuff that's not required per se, e.g. visuals. So in case I haven't said this other part, is check out your favorite channels, the ones that you watch the most. See what you like. Just look at like their traits, like what they do on their channel that appeals to you the most. You should probably inherit those for your own. And I say this, I'm not telling you to copy someone else. Obviously, we're not here to steal content ever. But to be inspired by someone is a total compliment to them. So take on those things, be inspired by them, because I know this on the other side now. if you're listening to this, if you're listening to Pyramid Energy, you're a listener. You're a listener. You actually may not be a big part of you. If you enjoy this content, there's highly likely there's a part of you that doesn't need the visual. So go with that if it appeals to you. And then the titles are important, and your thumbnail is important. I don't know. I used to spend a lot of time making it all look pretty and everything, but what I mean is important is the algorithm picks up on words. The algorithm somehow is also able to pick up the integrity between your title and your content. I don't know how they do it, but it does. It does it. So if you need to run your video through some AI tool that's going to summarize it and give you the gist of it to get a title, do that. It's helpful. I haven't done that for this channel, but I've played with AI and it's helpful. It really is. And it actually helps you to see how the system understands what you've shared and its understanding of what you've shared. The words, that's why I put words on my title page. In the very beginning, that's what I did. Because also, if someone has never seen your content, YouTube currently is actually promoting new creators. So if YouTube has, if a person has never seen your content, the best way to catch them is for them to see those words. That's my thinking, and it's not up everyone's alley, but that's how my mind thinks, is like, and that's how I've discovered new stuff as well, because I can already see from the thumbnail if this is what I need. And then I can also check the title. Is this what I need? But your title needs to represent what you've said to a large extent, especially if it's new, because that's basically your ad for them. That's the only way they'll recognize you. And talking about recognizing, that's why I also believe it's best to stay true to yourself, because you want an audience that feels like you. You know, for me, Pyramid Energy feels like I found a home. And if I had presented this a whole lot of different ways that were not true to me and true to my essence, I may not have found you. And so that even the triangle, the pyramid, the name of the channel, I mean, yes, the pyramids are still a mystery, but it appealed to you. And another little tip, try and have, okay, so this is a very sneaky trick. And I don't remember if I did it with my first video, but it's something that I recommend. The algorithm, the algorithm will pick up if the first few people who watch your video don't watch it fully. I don't know how many chances it gives a creator. So you don't want your first video and your first viewer to watch it like 10% of it. You don't want that. So don't upload your video and then watch it yourself and then go out. Big mistake. You're telling the algorithm it's not worth watching. The sneaky part is on your other account, if you have one, you can watch yourself. Boost yourself. I'm not saying create 10 accounts and boost yourself. That's not what I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, it's about whether people find value in your content. That's what's going to determine if a few different accounts watch, and the algorithm picks up on that too. So what I'm saying that I don't recommend you do is share it on your Instagram with people that are only just curious about what you're doing, because those people will go directly to your video, satisfy their curiosity and click off, because that's what Instagram is. So YouTube is made for long form content and Instagram is designed for short form content. And I know these things are all crossing over at the moment, but the point is that the Instagram consumer has a short attention span. No judgment on anyone, but it has a short attention span. And those of us who spend a lot of time on YouTube, we're here to learn, a lot of us. I am. And so, yeah, I do click off some videos, and, time is valuable. But just let it sit in YouTube. Don't try boost it before it's had a chance to boost itself. And if you're boosting it yourself, give it that full chance. Don't make the system think your video is not worth watching. And on that note, I really don't recommend you sending your content to friends or people you need the opinion of before you share it. I highly recommend giving yourself as many chances as you need. So again, here I didn't use my name. And after some time, I got comfortable with using my name, obviously. But I didn't use my name because honestly, if that first video hadn't worked out, I probably would have maybe tried another video in the peace of my privacy and maybe deleted the first video, or you've got freedom. So reduce the pressure by doing this in the privacy of your own space. It's experimenting. It's experimenting. A lot of us have had to do so many things on the spiritual journey through our own experimentation. Before you read something new, you don't go ask your friends if you should read it. You don't ask people like, I remember when I was a teenager, I'd call my friends to ask what I should wear. What should we wear? I don't know, what are you going to wear? I used to do that, but I'm a big girl now, So be free, try new things. And don't be afraid to start again tomorrow. So if tomorrow you have an epiphany, get a new Gmail account. So for me, I don't know, maybe it's a paranoia, but for Pyramid Energy, I literally used the new Gmail address. I used the Gmail address that I hadn't used before. So just a Gmail address takes 10 seconds to start. New Gmail address, new YouTube channel, new name, just go. And something else I want to share about your voice. I've watched a couple of videos, people comment, and then I get curious and I go check out what content they're making. You all have such wonderful voices. Sorry, that's my speaker turning off. Excuse that sound. I was listening to music. Okay, so you all have such wonderful voices. Your voices are highly energetic, soothing. And I think that's why I felt I needed to share what I said about the audio, because you don't want to distract the senses. You'll know if someone's told you before that you have a lovely voice. So use it. And then last but not least is like more highly technical stuff. Sometimes we think this stuff is obvious, and the few times I've shared it with people, they've said, thank you so much for sharing this. I'm going to share it with you, because that's how I found out about it, is somebody told me about it. And I've also heard people saying, you're so generous with this information, because people gatekeep information. They don't share information to help other people. People are like this. But I don't think we're like that here. So Canva, C-A-N-V-A, is a tool for designing visuals. There's so much on Canva, pre-designed stuff. There's just so much on Canva. I'm sure maybe you've heard about it, maybe you haven't. So that's why I'm sharing it. Easy to use, free. And then CapCut, C-A-P-C-U-T, is an editing tool that I use for videos. I love editing, especially this one. It's so easy to use. It's got, you can add like music to it. It's got everything. You can add captions. It's got everything. So I design my thumbnails on Canva, export them into a folder, and then I plug them into CapCut when I'm doing my video. So that's why I found it easy just to add like certain visuals where I need to kind of show you something I've written. That's how I do it. I believe it's possible to do it all in CapCut, but my main thing is also that CapCut is easy to use and it's free. And then a mic. A mic, for me, I probably was like 4 videos in before I got a mic. I don't even think it doesn't need to be a costly mic. I didn't spend much on mine, but it's the best decision I made, because it was long before any of my videos gained like any decent traction. But I just felt like, if this goes somewhere, I'd like the quality of the voice to be decent. So let me just get a mic. So then I really recommend that, especially if you want your voice to be heard, because again, you have a beautiful voice. And that's that from me. I just felt this burning need to share this information, because I hope it will be helpful if you felt stuck in any way and wondered. I remember making a comment once about not showing my identity, and it's not really, initially it did feel like somewhat protecting myself so that I don't feel like I've failed if I produce any content and someone doesn't like it, or someone knows me, finds it, whatever. But I've kind of got over that, somewhat, you know. But I just thought I'd share the reasons. Someone commented and said, they said, I think I'm going to start a new channel and not show my face and not give my name so I can talk about whatever I want. And I remember laughing because I was like, no, that's not what I was doing. You know, you don't conceal your identity to blast people or say things you wouldn't say directly to their face. That's not the intention. But this is to share more of my intention behind what I do. I have found some other pictures of myself that I wish that I would share, but I hardly take photos of myself, and the photos that I have, I don't feel they represent me currently now. So that'll come in time. But I'm so glad I shared this with you. I didn't think I'd talk for like 26 minutes straight, but here we are. And yeah, happy Sunday. Sending you love.